Do you feel stuck in a cycle of financial struggle or unfulfilled relationships, living life by default rather than designing the future you desire? Quote, "The secret power of the universe reveals the ultimate solution to this pain by teaching you how to master the law of attraction to transform your thoughts into tangible reality. You will discover powerful techniques to manifest abundance, whether it is more money, true love, or vibrant health, by simply aligning your subconscious mind with the energy of the universe. Stop waiting for luck to strike and start using these proven universal laws to create the success and happiness you truly deserve today." Let's find out more.
That is a massive promise, isn't it?
That's huge.
But what makes this deep dive so interesting and why I'm excited to get into it with you is that we aren't just looking at some, wish upon a star motivational pamphlet.
Right.
We're looking at a text that claims this isn't just magic or positive thinking. It's presented as a matter of physics.
Exactly. We are unpacking The Secret Power of the Universe by Jenny Loveless. And I have to say, right off the bat, the thing that struck me most when I was reading through the source material is the tone.
The tone, yeah.
Loveless isn't presenting this as a maybe or if you're lucky or, if the stars align just right.
No, it's very definitive.
She frames the law of attraction, or LOA as we'll probably call it today, as a universal law, like gravity, rigid, unbending, mechanical.
That is the core premise, and it's a really vital distinction to make early on.
I think so too.
She compares the law of attraction to the law of relativity or the law of gravity. And her argument is basically this. You don't have to believe in gravity to fall down, right?
If you trip, you're going down.
If you trip over a curb, you hit the ground. Gravity doesn't care if you're a good person, a bad person, or if you think gravity is some kind of hoax. It just acts.
It's impersonal.
Completely.
Yeah.
And she posits that the law of attraction works exactly the same way. The universe is a machine. It's a system of rules. If you understand the operating manual, you can predict the output.
The operating manual. I love that phrasing. It kind of takes the mysticism out of it and puts the control back in our hands.
It does.
So our mission for this deep dive is to basically read that manual together. We want to move past the buzzwords because we've all heard think positive or good vibes only.
Oh, endlessly.
And get into the actual mechanics she describes, the how-to of manifesting money, health, and love. But before we get to the techniques, and there's some really, really specific ones,
There are.
we have to start with her philosophy on the power within us and this whole concept of fairness.
The fairness objection. This is usually the first wall people hit when they start talking about this stuff.
Right. This is the first thing that comes to my mind. Because if you just look at the world objectively, you see poverty, you see war, you see illness, you see people born into incredibly difficult circumstances while others are born into, total luxury. It is very hard to look at that picture and accept the idea that the universe is fair. It seems chaotic and, random.
And Loveless tackles this head-on in the text. She uses this really beautiful analogy of an old grandfather clock.
Okay.
She asks us to look at the natural world, the way the universe is constructed. The sun is positioned at the exact right distance to sustain life. A little closer we burn, a little further we freeze.
The Goldilocks zone.
The Goldilocks zone. The moon provides just enough light and tidal pull. The ecosystem is a system of harmony where everything fits. She argues that the machinery of the universe was made to complete perfection.
Okay, I can buy the nature's perfect argument. I see that. But how does she reconcile that perfection with, say, human suffering? How is it fair that one person struggles to eat and another buys a third yacht?
Well, her argument is that the world is 100% fair because the tool for change is evenly distributed.
The tool?
Yes. She claims that everyone, regardless of circumstance, is born with access to the law of attraction. It's like saying we all have different starting positions on the board, but we all have the same dice.
That's a very bold claim. So even if you're born with less, she's saying the tool to change it is basically built into your operating system.
Precisely. Now, she does acknowledge physical impossibilities, and this is important for credibility. She's not saying it's, magical.
Sure.
She says if you're born without limbs, you can't just grow them back through thought. She respects the laws of biology.
That's good to hear.
But she argues that anyone can create the lifestyle of their dreams by manipulating this law. It's the great equalizer in her view. And she grounds this, which I found really interesting, in Einstein.
Oh, here we go. I always love when we get to the science part of these deep dives. She brings up Eve's Momcast.
She does. And she breaks it down in a way that's very specific to manifestation. We know E is energy and M is mass.
Right.
Her interpretation is that since energy equals mass, they are interchangeable. Energy can and does turn into mass.
Okay, I follow the physics so far. That's pretty standard thermodynamics.
But the leap she makes, and this is really the core of her entire argument, is this. Thoughts are energy.
Which is true neurologically speaking. Brainwaves are electrical. You can measure them with an EEG. They are a form of energy.
Right, so if thoughts are energy and energy turns into mass...
Then logically, thoughts turn into things, into mass.
Exactly. She describes space not as this empty nothingness, but as ether filled with probability waves.
Probability waves. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but I think I know what she means. She's talking about potential, right?
Yes. Think of the empty space right in front of you. Loveless says it isn't empty. It's the ether, and it's filled with this vibrating potential.
Okay.
Every possible future, every possible object exists in that wave state. It's all just potential.
And a thought is what makes it real.
A thought, a focused, intense thought, is what essentially activates a probability wave. You are collapsing the wave function, to borrow a term from quantum mechanics. You are turning that potential energy into a tiny particle of reality.
So every thought is like a little factory worker pulling something out of the ether and making it tangible.
In a sense, yes. She says the moment you have a thought, it becomes a tiny particle in space. It's the seed of physical reality.
Well, and this is the huge, but it's not just about thinking, I want a Ferrari with your conscious mind while you're brushing your teeth.
Because if it was just about thinking it, I'd be recording this from a private island right now. We both would be.
Me too. Absolutely.
Exactly. And this is where Loveless makes a crucial distinction between the conscious and the subconscious mind.
Okay, let's break that down.
The conscious mind is the daily operator. It does math, reads books, tells time, decides what to have for lunch. It's the voice in your head.
The part that's awake?
But the subconscious, that's the engine room. It holds long-term memories, feelings, trauma, and your deep core beliefs. And here is the kicker. It cannot tell time.
It doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future.
Not at all. To the subconscious, everything is now. If you are remembering a trauma from 10 years ago and really feeling the emotion of it, the subconscious thinks it is happening right now.
Wow.
And even more importantly, the universe doesn't have ears.
No ears. I wrote that down in my notes. That made me laugh, but it makes perfect sense in this context. Explain that to the listener.
It's a great image, isn't it? She says, God or the universe doesn't hear what you say or what you intellectually want. It doesn't process English or Spanish or French.
It's not listening to your words.
It's responding to your vibrational frequency. It
Yeah.
responds to what you feel and believe deep down in your subconscious.
So let's play this out. And I'm standing in front of a mirror saying, I am rich. I am wealthy. But my stomach is in knots because I'm worried about rent, and I'm sweating because I saw an overdue bill. The universe just hears the knots.
It hears the knots. It feels the vibration of lack and fear. The words are totally irrelevant. The feeling is the signal.
And because it's a fair machine, a mirror, it gives you more of what you're vibrating. More lack, more fear.
More things to feel knotted up about.
That is actually kind of terrifying, but also empowering, I guess, if you can learn to control it.
That's the whole point.
Before we get to the techniques of controlling it, I want to talk about Jenny Loveless herself. Because she wasn't always this, guru of manifestation, right? She had a something was missing moment.
She did. She paints a picture of a life that, on paper, looked perfect.
Yeah.
She was 35, had a good husband, 3 daughters, a nice home. By all societal standards, she had made it.
She checked all the boxes.
All of them. But she felt unfulfilled. She describes it as a relationship with God where she was always asking for things when she was in trouble, but lacking a deeper, more constant connection.
The foxhole prayer mentality. Get me out of this and I promise I'll be good.
Exactly. We've all done it. And the turning point for her was Jehovah's Witnesses.
I remember reading that and thinking, okay, where's this going? It's not what I expected.
It's a great detail. 2 ladies came to her door. Loveless mentions she's very open-minded, so instead of slamming the door or hiding behind a couch like many of us might,
Guilty.
she talked to them. She didn't want to join their religion, but one of them gave her a piece of advice that changed everything for her. She said, ask God what you are seeking.
Not ask God for a new car, but ask what is missing.
Right. Ask what I need to know. It's a totally different kind of question.
A much better question.
And she took that literally. She asked for 3 days straight, Lord, I am missing something. What is it? And on the 4th day, she was just scrolling through Netflix.
Talk about a sign of the times. Divine intervention via streaming algorithm.
For her, it was absolutely the answer. She found the movie The Secret. And for her, watching that wasn't just entertainment. It was the missing piece of the puzzle. It wasn't a religion, it was a way of living,
A framework.
a framework.
Yeah.
And that brings us to her core concept of living by default versus designing reality.
Living by default. That sounds like most people I know. It sounds like me before I had my coffee this morning. What does she mean by that exactly?
Living by default is believing that life is just the luck of the draw. It's the philosophy of playing the cards you were dealt. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not, and you just have to roll with the punches.
It's a passive existence.
Completely passive. You are the cork bobbing in the ocean, going wherever the current takes you.
And she says we can put the cards back.
She says, put the cards back and pick 4 aces. You don't have to play a bad hand. You are the dealer, not just the player.
I like that.
And she uses her husband as the perfect foil, the example of the skeptic living by default.
The poor husband. He really gets thrown under the bus here, doesn't he?
He does serve as a very relatable cautionary tale, though. She describes him as a hard worker, a good man, but he hates his commute.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
And what does he do during that commute? He listens to talk shows about the economy crashing. He listens to angry political pundits.
Oh, the doom scrolling of the radio. We've all been there. You get in the car, you turn on the news, and by the time you get to work, you're just angry and scared.
Exactly. He worries about bills constantly. She mentions he actually gets physically sick to his stomach when paying them. He is vibrating stress and poverty and anger.
He's marinating in it.
And the result?
Let me guess. More traffic and more bills.
Precisely. She says he attracts exactly what he focuses on. He dwells on the difficulty, so the universe gives him more difficulty. It says, oh, you're fascinated by traffic. Here, have some more.
Whereas her experience was the opposite.
The total opposite. Once she started applying the LOA, she talks about the green light phenomenon.
The green light phenomenon.
Yes. She claims she started hitting all green lights. Songs on the radio would match her thoughts perfectly, but the best example she gives is the day her husband came home early.
This was the rare event, right? This never happened.
He never came home early. It would take the building burning down, she says. But one day, she was in a really high vibration state, just feeling good, and had a fleeting thought. Wouldn't it be great if he came home early?
And he did.
And he did. Just walked in the door.
And her point is that she didn't stress about it. She didn't need him to come home. It was just a light, positive thought.
That's the key. Because she wasn't attached to the outcome, and we'll talk a lot more about attachment later. There was no resistance. The universe just delivered it.
Okay, so we have the theory. Thoughts are things. We have the proof of concept in her own life with the green lights and her husband. But let's look at the flip side. Why does this fail for so many people? Because I know plenty of people who watched The Secret, got all excited, made a vision board, and are still broke and unhappy.
It's a very common experience. And Loveless identifies 3 main reasons for failure. First, not believing wholeheartedly. Second, not understanding the mechanics, the nuts and bolts we're discussing. And third, and this is a big one, failing to recognize the signs or the answers when they appear.
She tells a really tragic story about a guy she calls John Doe to illustrate this. This one stuck with me because I think we all know a John Doe.
It's a very sad case study. John Doe was a guy who prided himself on not wanting much. He would criticize wealthy people, calling them greedy or money-hungry.
The sour grapes mentality.
Totally. He'd say things like, I'm happy with the bare minimum, or rich people are evil.
Which sounds noble on the surface, doesn't it? We're often taught that modesty is a virtue.
It does. But Loveless argues it was a defense mechanism. He didn't believe he could get more, so he pretended he didn't want it. And deep down, his core subconscious belief was that money was bad.
So what did his subconscious do?
It protected him. It kept him away from the bad thing.
Wow.
If your subconscious believes money is evil and I am a good person, it will do everything in its power to keep you poor so that you can remain good in your own eyes.
That's a powerful form of self-sabotage.
And the result for him? He couldn't keep a job. He sabotaged opportunities. 16 years later, she says, he's living with his father on welfare. No car, no bank account.
And when people suggest solutions like taking the bus to a job interview, he has an excuse. How can I buy a bus pass with no money?
Right. And Loveless's analysis here is so sharp. She says he doesn't lack things because he didn't want them. He lacks them because he didn't believe he deserved them.
His subconscious belief was life is unfair and rich people are bad.
So the universe, being a perfect mirror, kept him poor to align with his own integrity. It gave him proof that his beliefs were correct.
That leads to this paradox she talks about, wishful thinking versus knowing. And this, to me, is the hardest mental gymnastics of the whole book. It's the part that's hardest to get your head around.
Is the trap. Most people think LOA is about wishing. I hope I get a raise. I wish I had a new car. Loveless says wishing is fatal to the process.
Why? Wishing feels like a positive thing. I wish for world peace. I wish for a pony. It seems innocent.
Because hoping or wishing implies you don't have it. The language itself confirms the absence. If you say, I want money, you are affirming the state of wanting. You are telling the universe, I do not have money. The universe hears that vibration of wanting and gives you more of the feeling of wanting, which is, of course, the feeling of lack.
So to get it, you have to feel like you already have it. That's the paradox.
It is a core paradox of the whole system. She calls it knowing. You have to move from, I hope this happens, to, I know this is happening. Or even better, I know this has already happened.
Okay, let's unpack how to actually do that. Because knowing you have $1 million when your bank account says $12.50 is hard. It feels delusional.
It does.
This brings us to her visualization techniques. She calls them visual lies.
I love that phrase, visual lies. She's not trying to sugarcoat it. She admits it. You are brainwashing yourself. You are lying to your subconscious until it accepts the lie as truth.
Why does that work?
Because remember, the subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a physical reality. It processes both as real.
She uses the binder paper analogy to explain the vibration part, which I found helpful.
Right. Imagine a piece of binder paper with all the horizontal lines. The top line is your desire, the penthouse, the perfect health, the loving relationship.
Got it.
The bottom line is your current state, the basement apartment, the flu, the loneliness. Every positive vibration, every good feeling thought moves you up a line.
And every negative thought drops you back down.
Drops you down. Visualization is the engine that moves you up those lines, closer to the top.
But she has very specific rules. You can't just daydream while you're waiting for the bus.
No, it's a very active process.
And the most important one seems to be the point of view.
Yes. This is where most people mess it up. You must visualize from the first-person perspective. Do not watch yourself like a movie character.
So if I'm visualizing getting a big check in the mail,
you shouldn't see your own face smiling at the check. If you see your face, you are the audience. You are detached.
So I'm watching a movie about me.
You're watching a movie about you. Instead, you should see your hands holding the envelope. You should see the texture of the paper. You should see the ink from your own point of view. You need to simulate the actual optical experience of being you in that moment.
Because if I see my own face, my subconscious knows I'm watching a movie. It knows it's not real. It's just a story.
Exactly. It creates distance. First-person perspective creates immediacy. It tells the subconscious, this is happening to me right now.
She also talks about consistency, which is another big one.
Don't change the details. If you're visualizing a dream house, don't make the kitchen white on Monday and blue on Tuesday.
Why not? Maybe I'm just exploring my options.
Because it confuses the signal. You need to build a stable reality in the ether. You are constructing a building brick by brick. If you keep changing the blueprints, the building never gets built.
You're sending mixed messages to the universe.
You are, and emotion is the key, right?
Emotion is the fuel.
You can visualize the house perfectly, every shingle on the roof. But if you feel nothing, nothing happens. You have to feel the excitement now. You have to feel the joy of living there now.
So it's not just a mental movie, it's a full body experience.
A full sensory experience. She suggests using music. She uses Pandora in the bath to elevate her vibration while visualizing. She creates a soundtrack for her success.
Does she have a concrete example of this brainwashing working? Because visual lies sounds fun, but does it actually pay the bills?
The nanny story is her proof of concept here. It's a great one. She needed childcare, but couldn't afford the market rates. She was stuck.
A common problem.
A very common problem.
Okay.
So she started cleaning her house, but pretending she wasn't the one doing it.
Wait, she was cleaning, but pretending she wasn't? How does that work?
She was physically cleaning, vacuuming, doing the dishes, but in her mind, she was imagining a nanny was there with her. She would talk to this invisible nanny out loud.
Out loud.
Out loud. Oh, thank you for doing the dishes. You're so good with the kids. I appreciate your help so much.
Okay, that sounds a little crazy. If her husband walked in, he'd probably be worried about her mental state.
She admits it's visual lies. She was acting out of play, but she did it consistently. She built the reality of the nanny in her home, in her subconscious. And then she went on Craigslist, which is the action part, by the way.
Right, she didn't just sit on the couch.
No. And she found a woman willing to work for $5 an hour in California.
$5 an hour in California. That's statistically impossible. That's way, way below minimum wage.
That's what she says. But she found it. She argues the universe delivered the impossible because she had already accepted the reality of having a nanny in her subconscious. The specific wage didn't matter. The reality of I have help was what manifested.
Okay, so we visualize, we lie to our subconscious, but then comes what she says is the hardest step of all, letting go, detachment.
This is the real balance. You have to want it with passion, visualize it with intensity, and then completely stop caring if you get it.
Which feels impossible. How can I want something with all my heart and also not care if I get it? It feels like a contradiction.
It does. But she connects this to gratitude. She uses what I call the layaway logic. If your parents call and say they sent you a check in the mail, do you wait until you actually cash it to say thank you?
No, of course not. I'd call them and say thanks as soon as they told me it was coming. I know it's on the way. It's as good as here.
Right. Or if someone buys you a restaurant, but it's a fixer-upper and not open yet, you still thank them for the restaurant.
You thank them for the gift, yeah.
Gratitude signals to the universe that the transaction is complete. You already have it. It closes the gap between the desire and the reality.
So gratitude is another hack to trick the subconscious into believing it's already done.
Yes. But letting go also deals with fear. Attachment, she says, is just fear of loss. If you are desperate for the money, you are vibrating fear. You are vibrating, I need this or I will die.
And that desperation pushes it away.
It pushes it away. So you have to detach. You have to get to a place where you can honestly say, I would love this, but my happiness does not depend on it. I will be okay without it.
She gives a technique for when you catch yourself worrying, right? Because we all spiral sometimes. We all get caught in the how and the when.
The 60-second positive visualization. It's a great tool. If you catch yourself worrying, stop. Don't fight the thought. Just pivot.
Don't resist it.
No, just insert a 60-second visualization of the positive outcome. Really feel the joy, and then immediately distract yourself. Clean the house, watch a movie, call a friend. Get your mind completely off the subject.
And she addresses the time delay. Why doesn't it happen instantly?
She calls the time delay a safeguard. And frankly, thank goodness for it. Imagine if every fleeting thought manifested instantly.
I'd be in so much trouble. One moment of road rage and poof, the guy who cut me off would just vanish.
Exactly. Or you worry, what if I trip? And you'd immediately faceplant. The time delay is a buffer. It prevents our negative, stray thoughts from instant manifestation, and it gives us time to clarify if we really want the thing we asked for.
It allows us to correct our course.
It does. It's a safety feature, not a bug.
That's a comforting way to look at it. It's not a failure, it's a safety buffer.
And her advice is always to ask for this or something better.
This or something better. I like that. It keeps you open. Maybe you think you want the red car, but the universe has a better blue one waiting for you that you didn't even know about.
Exactly. Which brings us to how we know it's coming. Reading the signs.
Oh, this section was fun. She talks about intuition and coincidences.
She believes intuition is the universe speaking directly to you. She has a swift action rule. When you get a gut feeling, a hunch to call someone or turn left instead of right, you have about 10 seconds to act or the moment passes.
10 seconds? That's not a lot of time.
It's not. She says successful people decide quickly, they trust the download, and they act.
The story that really blew my mind here was the Malachi story.
That is a spooky one. It really illustrates her no coincidence theory.
Okay, so set the scene for us.
Okay, so Loveless and her family are driving to a river for a day trip. On the way, they're just chatting, talking about names. Her 14-year-old daughter is obsessed with the movie Children of the Corn.
A creepy movie, a classic bit of horror.
Very. And the daughter says she loves the name Malachi, who is the creepy kid leader in the movie. She doesn't just like it, she loves it. She's vibrating high emotion about this specific, unusual name. She's saying it over and over again.
Okay, so she is broadcasting a very clear frequency, Malachi.
A very clear signal. Then they get lost. They take a wrong turn, end up at the completely wrong spot on the river. It's a dead end.
So they're not even where they're supposed to be.
Not at all. They're setting up their picnic, and a boat pulls up. A father and son get out.
I think I know where this is going. I'm getting chills.
The son's name was Malachi, and the father confirms he was named after the character in Children of the Corn.
No way. That's impossible.
Loveless uses this to argue there is no such thing as coincidence. The universe coordinated them getting lost. The timing of the boat, the specific people, everything, just to match the vibrational frequency of the name Malachi that the daughter was broadcasting.
It was a mirror reflecting her obsession back at her.
Perfectly.
That is wild. She also had that thing with the U2 song, right?
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
A classic. She was writing a book about a horse searching for green grass. The theme was literally not finding what you're looking for.
The universe has a sense of humor.
It really does. She kept hearing that song everywhere. Grocery stores, gas stations, on the radio.
And even when she laughed about it.
Especially then. She laughed about the coincidence, which is a high emotion, joy, amusement, and immediately the song played on the next random station she turned to. The universe echoes back what you focus on.
She also talks about a toy goat. This one seems smaller, but just as important.
It is. She asked God, or the universe, what animal should be in her book next. She didn't sit and brainstorm. She just put the question out there and started cleaning.
She let it go.
Let it go. Took some action. Found a toy goat while cleaning under the couch. She didn't overthink it. She trusted the sign immediately. And that's the lesson. Trust the first hit. Don't let your logical brain talk you out of it.
Let's get practical. How does she apply this to the big three? Money, health, and relationships. Let's start with money.
Her view on money is radical. She says, money is already a part of you.
What does she mean by that?
Since everything is energy and everything is connected, you are already connected to the money in the bank vault right now. It's just a matter of pulling it into your direct physical experience.
She used the Jim Carrey technique, right? The famous check story.
Yes, the famous $10 million check Jim Carrey wrote to himself before he made it big. Loveless mailed herself fake checks. She would print them out, put them in envelopes with stamps, and mail them to herself, so she could experience the physical sensation of opening the mailbox and finding money. It's about normalizing the presence of money in your life, making it feel common instead of rare.
What about health? This is always a controversial area in LOA circles. People can get very upset about this.
It is, and she's careful. She says, don't avoid doctors. This is a supplement, not a replacement. But she shares her own story about a breast lump.
And she had it for 2 years.
2 years, and is growing slowly. Then she started her LOA practice. Her method was simple but persistent. She wrote a note. My health is keeping me alive. Thank you for my health.
Not, I want this lump to go away.
No. That would focus on the lump. That would vibrate lump. She focused on health. She put the note in her medicine cabinet so she'd see it every day. She repeated it constantly.
And she stopped checking the lump.
Crucially, she stopped giving it her attention and her energy.
And she used a visualization called the white swirl.
Right.
Walk us through that.
You imagine a white light, or she says white glitter, swirling around your head, then moving down to your body. It acts like a scrub brush for toxins. It pulls them out. And she imagined it bursting the toxins outside her body, just disintegrating them.
And the result of all this?
After 3 weeks of this consistent practice, she checked. The lump was gone.
It's just gone.
Gone. She attributes it to the removal of fear and the constant focus on gratitude for the health she wanted to have.
Powerful stuff. And finally, relationships. Dealing with difficult people, which we all have to do.
This is useful for everyone. She says, you cannot change other people, you can only change your focus. And her technique is to make a list of positive qualities about a difficult person.
Even if you hate them, what if you can't think of any?
Even if you have to scrape the bottom of the barrel, they have nice hair, they're punctual, they breathe oxygen, whatever it takes to find one positive thing to focus on.
And this worked with her teenage daughter.
It did. She realized she was complaining about her daughter to everyone. She's so difficult, she fights all the time. She was manifesting more fighting by focusing on it.
What you focus on expands.
Exactly. When she stopped complaining and started focusing only on the good things, the relationship improved dramatically.
She also has that dinner party experiment for acquiring qualities you want in yourself.
This is a fun mental exercise. You imagine sitting at a table with people who have qualities you admire. Confidence from one person, patience from another, a sense of humor from a third.
Okay.
And you imagine them physically handing those qualities to you, like a gift, and you accept them. It's a way to borrow or align with the vibration you want to cultivate.
I might try that. I'll invite Einstein and maybe a stand-up comedian to my mental dinner party tonight.
It can't hurt.
So we're ready to start. We're convinced. How do we set goals? She talks about the 2 lists.
Yes. List 1 is the impossible goals. Aim high, $1 million, the perfect house, world travel, the big dreams.
And list 2.
List 2 is for short-term, believable goals. To train the subconscious.
Ah, so it's like lifting weights. You start small.
Precisely. When you manifest a small thing, like seeing a specific type of bird or getting all the green lights, your subconscious goes, oh, this is real. This works. It builds faith for the big list.
And she suggests the mirror technique to reinforce this.
This is a standard affirmation technique, but with a twist. You stand in front of a mirror and declare, I am a successful blank. But you do it until you smile.
Until you genuinely believe it, even for a second.
Until you get that physical reaction of joy or amusement. Then walk away immediately. Don't stand there until you feel awkward and doubt creeps back in. And on a high note.
And finally, the most important part that I think people forget, taking action.
LOA is not a couch potato sport. She calls it inspired action.
What's the difference between that and just working hard?
Inspired action is swift. It's effortless. It's when you get that intuition, that download, and you act on it immediately without questioning it.
Like her finding the book on self-publishing.
Exactly. She asked for guidance on how to become an author. She found a book on her Kindle by accident. She didn't hesitate. She read it. That action led to her career. If she had ignored the book, the manifestation would have stalled. The universe needs you to meet it halfway.
So what does this all mean for us? What's the takeaway?
It means we have to be active participants. We are broadcasting a signal 24/7, whether we know it or not. We can leave that signal on static and worry, or we can deliberately tune it to success and gratitude. The grandfather clock is ticking, the machine is working. It's up to us to feed it the right data.
That is a lot to process, but I feel weirdly ready to start vibrating higher.
Absolutely. The manual is right there.
Before we go, here is a thought to leave you with. Loveless mentions the idea of telepathy and thoughts floating in the ether. Think about this. If you have $1 million idea and you don't act on it, does that thought just sit there? Or does it float away until someone else, someone who is ready to act, picks it up?
It's a chilling thought. Are your brilliant ideas really yours? Or did you just tune into the right frequency at the right time?
And if you don't use them, who will?
Exactly.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, follow up, and next topic. Come back to continue the secret power of the universe.
It's great to be back.
Yeah.
And, I have to admit, when we first decided to tackle this, I had my reservations.
Oh, for sure.
The whole manifestation space can be, well, it could be a little fluffy,
It can feel like someone telling you to just, wish really hard and a car will appear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like trying to fix a real world problem with just positive thoughts and nothing else.
Oh.
But this material we're digging into today, The Secret Power of the Universe by Jenny Loveless, it feels different.
It really does. I think that's the key. A lot of people hear law of attraction and their mind immediately goes to like vision boards and The Secret.
Right.
Or that idea of sitting on the couch, eating chips, and just waiting for a check to show up in the mail.
Yeah, the passive approach. But Loveless's work, it feels less like a self-help pep talk and more like like you said before we started, a user manual.
A user manual for reality.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's not magic in a, fairy tale sense.
No. She's arguing that this is physics. That's the frame she uses. She positions the law of attraction, or LOA, as a universal law.
Like gravity.
Precisely. It's a system. And just like gravity, doesn't really care if you believe in it.
Right, you don't have to believe in gravity to, trip and fall down. It just works.
It's impartial. It is always on. And what Loveless is saying is that the universe operates in the exact same way. It's a machine of cause and effect that's running 2047, whether we're paying attention to the controls or not.
That comparison to gravity, that's what really grounded it for me. It took it out of the woo-woo and put it into the realm of mechanics.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, really.
Yeah.
To open up the hood of that machine. We're not just going to sit here and say, think positive thoughts. That's too vague. It's not helpful.
Not at all.
We're going to look at the specific feedback loops she talks about. We're going to get into this concept of the time delay, which honestly, that part kind of blew my mind.
Oh, me too. The safety valve idea.
And crucially, the physical action that's required. Because there's a kinetic element here, a get up and do something part that I think most people miss entirely.
Right. It's not a passive system. There is, for lack of a better term, sweat equity involved.
There has to be.
And her book covers the whole spectrum, right? It's not just about money. It's about reading signs. It's about your health, your relationships, even building your own character.
Your architecture of your personality.
Yeah.
But I think we have to start where she starts. With the data. With the signs.
The feedback loop.
The idea that we are not living in a vacuum. We're in a constant dialogue.
So, section 1, the feedback loop. Reading the signs.
This is the core premise. Loveless says the universe is constantly talking back to you every single request.
Every one.
Every single one. Whether it's a conscious prayer, a goal you write down, or even just a subconscious fear you're holding on to, it gets a response.
Okay, that's a comforting thought, but it's also a little overwhelming. If we're getting answers all the time, why does it feel like we're just shouting into the void most days?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's because we're trying to listen with the wrong equipment. We're using our logical minds. But the universe, it transmits on the frequency of intuition. Loveless draws this really sharp distinction between the conscious mind and the subconscious.
Let's break that down, because intuition is one of those words like synergy or something that gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
How does she define the difference between these two operating systems in our head?
Okay, so think of your conscious mind as your bodyguard.
Your bodyguard. Okay.
Its job is to keep you safe. It's logical. It's analytical. It looks both ways before you cross the street. It does your taxes. It weighs the pros and cons. It is absolutely essential for surviving in the physical world.
What?
But because its prime directive is to keep you safe from harm, it is inherently skeptical.
It's the voice of doubt.
It's the voice of doubt. It's the one to say, don't do that, it's risky, or that's just a coincidence, don't read into it.
So the conscious mind is basically the party pooper. It's the guy who says, well, actually, statistically speaking, that's highly improbable.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, in a way it is. It's the skeptic in the room.
Yeah.
It filters out anything that doesn't fit its pre-approved logical model of how the world works.
Okay.
But the subconscious,
Yeah.
that's your connection to the universe. That's where the gut feeling comes from. That's intuition. Loveless argues that when you ask for a solution, the answer usually shows up almost instantly.
Instantly.
But your conscious mind, your bodyguard, jumps in and talks you out of it within seconds.
Why?
Because the answer seems too simple, or too weird, or just too easy. It doesn't compute.
She has this story that illustrates this so perfectly, the toy goat. I want to get into the details of this because it's not some grand story about winning the lottery. It's so mundane, but that's what makes it so powerful.
It really is the perfect example.
Right.
So the setup is, Loveless is a writer. She's working on a children's book.
And she's writing a scene where the main character, a horse named Holly, is meeting some new friends. And she just hits a wall. Total writer's block.
We've all been there, staring at the blank page.
Yes.
Just nothing.
Nothing. She cannot figure out what animal Holly should meet next. So she decides to, test the system.
Put it to the test.
She literally just asks out loud to God, to the universe, what animal should be next. And now, this is the step.
Yeah.
This is the step I think most of us get wrong.
What's that?
She asks, and then she lets it go.
She just stops thinking about it.
Completely. She doesn't sit there chewing on her pen, stressing, trying to force an answer. She gets up and goes to clean the house.
Which is a classic way to distract the conscious mind.
It's the perfect way. You give the bodyguard a task. Hey, you go do this chore.
Yeah.
That keeps it occupied so the intuition can, slip in through the back door.
It's like when you're trying to remember an actor's name and you just can't get it.
Yes.
And then 10 minutes later, you're making a sandwich and it just pops into your head out of nowhere.
That's the exact mechanism. That's the subconscious delivering the file once the conscious mind stops blocking the download.
So she's cleaning up her daughter's room.
She's cleaning up toys, picking things up off the floor, total non-event. And what happens?
She reaches down and she picks up a little rubber toy goat and it's just bam.
An instant flash. It's a goat.
It seems so simple, so obvious. She found a toy goat, so the character should be a goat.
But listen to what she says happens in her head.
Right.
Immediately after that flash, her conscious mind tries to shut it down.
The bodyguard steps in.
It starts saying, well, that's silly. You just found a toy. It doesn't mean anything. It's random chance. You have a kid. Of course there are toys everywhere. Logic tries to dismiss the data.
But she didn't let it.
Because she was in that state of flow, that state of allowing, she was able to just bypass the logic. She trusted that first gut flash. And she put the goat in the book.
And that's the lesson, isn't it? It makes you wonder. How many times have we gotten an answer like that? A flash of an idea, a sudden urge to call someone.
And our logic just squashed it in 3 seconds flat.
Oh,
that's a dumb idea. Oh, they're probably busy. Don't bother them. Oh, that's too simple. It could never work.
Makes you wonder how many million-dollar ideas we've all had and dismissed because they arrived while we were, washing dishes.
We think a good idea has to come from struggle, from sitting at a desk and grinding it out.
Right. If the answer is easy, we don't trust it. We think it's a trick.
But Loveless is suggesting that the universe whispers. It doesn't usually shout. It follows the path of least resistance.
Well, speaking of the universe having a sense of humor. Sometimes it does shout.
Yes, it does.
We have to talk about the U2 song. This story it made me laugh because it's so absurd and so relatable.
This is a fantastic case study in what you might call frequency reticular activation, or, just the law of attraction working in overdrive.
Set the scene for us. What was she working on?
So she's writing another story. The theme of this book is about a horse who's looking for greener grass.
Okay, so the core idea is searching but not finding.
Exactly. The underlying emotional vibration of the whole project is, I am searching for something, but I can't find it. She is spending hours every day pouring her focus into that specific feeling.
She's marinating in that energy.
She's completely immersed in it. And then, suddenly her reality starts providing a soundtrack for her life. She starts hearing U2's I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And she makes the point to say, this isn't a song she normally listens to, right? It's not on our favorite station.
Right. It's popping up in places it shouldn't be. In stores, on different radio stations. Now, the skeptic, that conscious mind, again, would say, it's a huge famous song. Of course it plays all the time. You're just noticing it now because of what you're writing. Confirmation bias.
Sure.
But the frequency was increasing. It was becoming undeniable. It was nagging at her.
And the climax of this story is it's like something out of a movie.
It is. She's driving in her car, and she starts thinking about this coincidence. She actually laughs to herself about it. She thinks, it's so funny how that song keeps playing. She acknowledges the pattern.
So she is engaging with the feedback loop.
She is.
Yeah.
And the moment she laughs, the moment she acknowledges it, the radio, which was playing a totally different song, just switches.
And what starts playing?
The U2 song.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Like the universe was just sitting there waiting for her to get the joke.
That feels like the feedback loop closing right there. She put out a very specific signal, not finding what I'm looking for.
The universe echoed it back with the song.
She noticed the echo and acknowledged it.
And the universe went, yes, you hear me? Here it is again. Louder this time.
It's a conversation. That's what it is. Loveless analyzes this not as a random event, but as a direct reflection. The environment literally reorganized itself acoustically to mirror her internal state.
That's the theory.
Okay, but the U2 story is, it's fun, it's harmless. The next story in the book, the Malachi story, this one actually gave me goosebumps. This is where we leave the realm of fun coincidences and get into territory where, statistical probability just kind of breaks down.
This is the story that really challenges a purely random worldview. If you are a diehard skeptic, this is the one you really have to wrestle with.
So set this one up. The family's going on a day trip.
They're going to the river for a picnic. And Loveless's teenage daughter is in the back seat. And she is, for some reason, obsessing over the name Malachi.
Why that name?
She had just seen the horror movie Children of the Corn.
A classic. Absolutely terrifying.
Terrifying. And the main villain, the creepy kid, is named Malachi. So the daughter's just going on and on in the car. I love the name Malachi. Malachi is such a cool name. I'm going to name my kid Malachi one day.
So she's pouring a ton of high emotional energy into this one specific, very unusual word.
Exactly. That's the catalyst, right? The high emotion. It's not just a passing thought. It's a teenage obsession. It acts like a turbocharger for the signal she's sending out.
Okay, so they're driving along.
And things start to go wrong. They get lost. They miss their turn. They end up at a completely different part of the river than they had planned to go to.
And this is a key detail. The physical circumstances of their day are being altered. They're being moved around like, pieces on a chessboard.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
They're being redirected.
Sure.
So they finally give up. They find a spot. They settle down for their picnic at this wrong location. They're totally alone on the riverbank. And then a boat pulls up to the shore, a random boat.
In the middle of nowhere.
A father and a little boy get out. And the dad calls to his son. And what's the boy's name?
It has to be Malachi.
Malachi.
Uh-huh.
And it gets even weirder.
How can it get weirder?
The dad starts making small talk with him, and he explicitly says, yeah, we named him after the character in Children of the Corn.
Oh, come on. That is just too much. That's impossible.
It's the context that seals it. It's not just meeting a kid named Malachi, which is rare enough.
Right.
It's meeting a Malachi named after the exact same movie character his daughter was obsessing over at a location they only ended up at because they got lost.
It's like they were pulled there, magnetized to that specific coordinate on the map.
And Loveless uses this story to make a powerful point. The universe will move you physically. It will mess with your GPS. It'll create a detour. It will make you miss a turn just to align you with your dominant thoughts.
It really suggests that reality is much more fluid than we think it is. We assume the world is this static, solid thing. We're just moving through it. But she's arguing the world is actually molding itself around our mental output.
That's the argument. There are no coincidences. That's the mantra of this section. If you see something repeatedly, if you have a strange encounter, it's not an accident.
It's a mirror. It's data.
It's a mirror.
Okay. So, if the world is molding itself around us, that leads to a very easy but very dangerous assumption.
It does.
And I think this is where a lot of people get the law of attraction completely wrong. They think, great, I'll just sit on my couch, think about being rich, and wait for the doorbell to ring with a giant check.
The lazy manifestor trap.
Yes.
And Loveless is very, very firm on this. She dispels that myth immediately. And this brings us right into section 2. The kinetic element, action.
She quotes Picasso here, which I was not expecting.
Oh, love that.
Action is the foundational key to all success.
It's a great quote, and it highlights the central point. The universe provides the opportunity. It pings the boat to the shore.
Right.
But you still have to get in the car and drive to the river in the first place. You have to participate. You have to move your body in the physical world.
But she makes a distinction, doesn't she, between just, busy work and what she calls inspired action. And she talks about speed.
Swift and quick.
Yeah.
This part was a real wake-up call for me when I was reading the text.
Me too.
She observes that people who are highly successful, the people who seem to have that Midas touch, they make decisions immediately.
They don't agonize.
They don't wallow in maybe. They just decide. She contrasts this with the person at a restaurant looking at the menu.
The menu ditherer? I felt so seen in this part. I am that person.
A lot of us are.
I will read every ingredient. I'll compare the prices. I'll ask the waiter what they recommend. And I'll take, 20 minutes to decide on a sandwich.
It feels like you're being responsible, making the optimal choice.
Yeah.
But Loveless asks a very pointed question. Why do we do that? And her answer is, it's fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of making the wrong choice. It's a sign that you don't actually know what you want. And her argument is, well, it's brutal. She says if you don't even know what you want for lunch, how could you possibly send a clear signal to the universe about what you want for your life?
Ooh, that is a harsh truth. So the hesitation itself, the dithering, it creates a kind of static in the signal.
Hesitation signals doubt. And doubt is the enemy of this whole process. It signals that you don't trust yourself. Loveless argues that when you get that flash of intuition, that goat moment, you have to act on it now.
But why the urgency? Why can't I write the idea down in a notebook and, get to it next month?
Because the energy dissipates. And she touches on a theory that I find completely fascinating. The idea that ideas themselves, they aren't generated inside our brains.
You mean they're out there, floating around?
Like radio waves. Think of an idea for a new business or an invention or a song as a specific frequency that's just floating in the ether.
Okay.
If you happen to tune into it, let's say an idea for a revolutionary new coffee maker, and you don't act on it,
someone else will.
The signal moves on. Someone else, somewhere else in the world will tune into that same frequency and grab it. That's her explanation for why you so often see two people inventing the same thing at the same time on opposite sides of the planet.
So it's a use it or lose it situation.
Exactly. You have to be the lightning rod. You have to ground that energy into physical action.
Right.
If you wait, the inspiration fades, and what was once an exciting idea just becomes work, a chore.
But what about the grind? We're all taught that success requires, blood, sweat, and tears. The hustle culture. Loveless seems to be pushing back against that.
She does. She points out that if you look at a lot of millionaires or highly successful artists, yes, they are working incredibly hard, but it doesn't look like work to them.
It's play.
It's their playground. They are so aligned with their passion that the action feels effortless. It's a state of flow.
So if I'm grinding away at something and I feel miserable and exhausted every day, that's actually a sign that I'm on the wrong track.
According to Loveless, yes, that friction is a sign of misalignment. Inspired action should feel exciting. It should have a sense of momentum. If you were forcing yourself through the mud every single day, you might be trying to force a door open that just isn't meant for you.
That's actually a huge relief to hear. It completely reframes the idea of productivity.
It does.
But, okay, let's say we're doing everything right. We're reading the signs. We're taking swift, inspired action. We're in the flow. But then nothing happens. Or at least, nothing happens yet. This is the part where I think 99% of people just give up. The waiting game.
This is section 3, the time delay. And this is, without a doubt, the hardest part of this whole user manual to accept.
It's brutal.
And Loveless acknowledges that. She talks about her own writer's hell, sending out manuscripts, waiting by the mailbox every day for a response from a publisher. It's excruciating.
Because it feels like failure. You ask, you take action, and you don't receive. So the logical conclusion is, this didn't work.
Right. But she completely reframes the delay. She stops seeing it as a failure and starts calling it a safety valve.
A safety valve, like on a pressure cooker.
Exactly. The buffer theory. And this concept is so crucial for your sanity if you're going to practice this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, just for a second, if every single thought you had manifested instantly. No delay at all.
It would be chaos. Absolute chaos.
It would be a total disaster. You're driving, someone cuts you off, you have a flash of anger, I hope you crash. Boom! They crash right in front of you.
Or you have a fleeting insecurity. What if I get fired? Boom, you get an email from HR.
What if there's a monster under my bed? Boom, there's a monster. Or I'm so worried an elephant will fall on me. Boom, elephant.
Okay, I see your point.
We are messy, chaotic thinkers. We have thousands of contradictory, negative, fearful thoughts every single day. If there were no time delay, our reality would be this constantly shifting, terrifying nightmare. We wouldn't survive an hour.
So the delay is basically the universe going, Are you sure about that? Do you really want that?
It's a grace period. Exactly. It gives you time to clarify what you really want. It allows the fleeting negative thoughts to just fade away before they can solidify into reality. It's a filter that only manifests the signal you hold consistently over a period of time.
She uses her own publishing journey as the perfect example of this being a good thing.
She does. She was desperate. Absolutely desperate for a traditional publisher. That was her dream. And she faced rejection after rejection. The delay went on for years.
Which must have been heartbreaking.
Of course. But in that time, because of that delay, the entire publishing industry changed. Self-publishing became a viable, even profitable option. She eventually realized she could make more money and have more creative control by doing it herself.
So if she had gotten what she wanted instantly, that traditional book deal she was praying for?
She would have actually been worse off. She would have been locked into a bad contract, making less money, giving away her rights. The delay didn't deny her success. It protected her. It led her to a better outcome she couldn't even see at the time.
That leads directly to one of my favorite practical tools in the entire book. It's so simple, the "or something better" clause.
It's a brilliant little psychological hack, especially for control freaks. And I am 100% including myself in that category.
Me too. We think we know exactly what's best for us. I want this thing, in this color, delivered on this day.
We get so hyper-specific. I want this specific job at this specific salary in this specific office. But Loveless suggests that at the end of every request, you just add the phrase, this or something better.
So I want to make 50 sales a day or more. I want my book to have a rank of 3,000 or better.
Yes. What it does is it prevents you from putting a ceiling on your own potential. It's an act of humility. It acknowledges that your imagination is limited.
You're looking at the world through a keyhole.
But the universe can see the whole room. You might be asking for a used compact car because that's all you think is possible for you right now. But the universe has a brand new luxury SUV lined up for you if you would just stop insisting on the compact.
It's about letting go of the how.
And trusting the what. It creates what she calls the law of allowing. You stop fighting the current. You trust that if the specific thing you asked for isn't showing up, it's not because you failed, it's because the something better is being assembled behind the scenes.
It turns rejection into redirection.
Beautifully put.
Okay, so we have the philosophy, we have the mindset. Now we need the actual blueprint, the practical steps. How do we structure these requests? Loveless gets very specific about goal setting in section 4.
She quotes Aristotle here, which I also loved. Man is a goal-seeking animal.
Right.
Her argument is that without clear targets, we just drift. We default to mediocrity. If you don't give your subconscious brain a destination, it just drives around in circles.
And to do that, she suggests the two lists strategy.
This is such a clever way to hack your own belief system, because the biggest problem with setting huge goals is usually the believability gap.
Explain the two lists. Why not just one?
So list number 1 is your impossible list, your dream list.
Yep.
This is where you go completely wild. No budget, no logic, no limitations.
The mansion on the beach, the private jet, the perfect health, the millions in the bank.
The stuff you might even be a little embarrassed to admit you want. And she says, be specific. Don't just write a nice car.
Right. It's a midnight blue Tesla Model S with the cream interior.
Exactly. The universe loves specifics. But here's the problem. If you only look at that list every day, your conscious mind, the skeptic, is just going to laugh in your face.
It's going to say, yeah, right. You have $12 in your checking account. This is a joke.
And that creates resistance. That creates doubt. And that kills the whole process. So that's what you need. List number 2.
The believable list.
Your short-term goals. These are your 5-year, 1-year, 6-month plans. Things that are a stretch, but they're plausible.
Like get that promotion at work, or save $10,000, or run a 10K.
Things your brain can actually look at and go, okay, yeah, I can see a path to that. This list acts as a bridge.
A bridge to the impossible list.
Precisely. As you start ticking off these smaller, believable goals, you build faith. You're providing your own subconscious with evidence that this system works. It starts to say, hey, we're pretty good at this manifesting thing. We said we'd save 10,000, and we did. And suddenly the items on the impossible list don't seem quite so impossible anymore.
It builds momentum. It's like training a muscle.
It is.
And where do we put these lists? She has a very domestic preference for this.
The fridge.
The refrigerator. Not some sacred altar. The appliance where we keep the milk and the leftover pizza.
It makes perfect sense when you think about it, though. It's the fridge versus nightstand debate.
Okay.
If you keep your goals written in a journal on your nightstand, maybe you read them once a day if you're really disciplined. But how many times a day do you walk past or open your refrigerator?
Way too many. Probably 20, 30 times a day if I'm working from home.
Exactly. And even if you don't stop and read the entire list every single time, your eyes scan it. It becomes a subliminal trigger. Every time you reach for a snack, you are bombarding your subconscious with your targets. It keeps your goals top of mind without requiring any extra effort.
I love that. It's integrating the magic into the mundane. You're making your goals part of your daily nutrition, basically.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, I want to pivot now to something that affects every single person listening, no matter what their career or financial goals are. Relationships, section 5. Interpersonal alchemy.
This is where the rubber really meets the road. Because, it's one thing to try and control your own thoughts, but other people are difficult. They have free will.
Right. And Loveless uses the mirror effect concept here, the idea that people in our lives tend to reflect back to us whatever we are projecting onto them. And she uses a really tough, really vulnerable example from her own life.
Her relationship with her teenage daughter.
Yes. And this was a brave thing to admit in the book. She says they were at each other's throats, constant fighting. The house was a war zone.
And she had this realization that she was a huge part of the problem because of how she was talking about her daughter to other people.
She was complaining she's so difficult, she never cleans her room, we just always fight.
By saying those words out loud to her friends, to her family, she was reinforcing that reality. She was cementing that identity for her daughter in her own mind. She was literally manifesting a difficult child by focusing all of her powerful creative energy on the difficulty.
So what was the fix? Because you can't just wish a teenager to be nice. I think anyone who's had a teenager knows that's a tall order.
She used a technique she calls the positive aspects technique. And it is brutally simple, but incredibly hard to do when you are angry or frustrated with someone.
What is it?
You absolutely force yourself to find one good quality in that person. Just one.
Even if it's something totally superficial, like she has nice hair or he's always on time.
It doesn't matter how small or seemingly insignificant it is. Loveless started deliberately focusing only on her daughter's good qualities and consciously ignoring the bad behavior. She stopped complaining. She refused to speak a single negative word about her daughter to anyone. And she describes what happened next as a domino effect.
How so?
By forcing her focus onto one good thing, her brain naturally started to notice a second good thing, then a third. Her entire vibration, her energy towards her daughter, shifted from hostility and resentment to appreciation.
And the relationship actually changed.
Completely turned around. And she points out, it's not that her daughter's personality magically changed overnight. It's that the dynamic changed. Loveless stopped being an antagonist. She stopped being a mirror for conflict, so the daughter no longer needed to be defensive. The mirror changed, so the reflection in the mirror had to change.
That is so powerful. And it puts all the responsibility back on us, which is kind of scary, but also empowering.
It is.
If you have a difficult boss or a difficult neighbor, instead of complaining about them, the work is to find one thing you can genuinely appreciate about them.
It is the hardest thing to do, but she says it yields the fastest results. And she also gives advice for single listeners who are looking for a partner: the letter to the universe.
This sounds like it connects back to the goal lists, writing a detailed description of your ideal future partner.
It is, but there's a huge catch, a very important one: the vibe check.
The vibe check.
You cannot write that letter while you are feeling lonely or desperate or needy.
Because desperation is a repellent.
It's the ultimate repellent. If you sit there writing, "I'm so alone, I need someone to complete me," the universe doesn't hear the "I need someone" part. It just hears the loud, clear, dominant vibration: I am alone. And it gives you more of that, more aloneness.
So you have to emit the vibration of love to attract love.
You have to feel the love before the person shows up.
Which is the great paradox of this whole system, isn't it? You have to find a way to be happy without the thing you want in order to get the thing you want.
That's the secret sauce right there. You have to become the person who is ready for love, not the person who is begging for it.
Okay, let's move from the heart to the body. Section 6. Somatic manifestation. Health. And we need to put a big disclaimer right here at the top of this.
A huge one. And Loveless makes this point herself very clearly. This is not a replacement for medical advice. Do not stop taking your medication. Do not avoid going to the doctor.
Right. This is about mindset supporting medicine, not replacing it.
Absolutely. But with that said, she argues the mind-body connection is incredibly powerful. And she has this concept of the clean slate mental approach to health.
This goes back to what we were saying about how the universe processes language. It's about focus.
Exactly. Loveless says you must never, ever write, "I don't want to get breast cancer," on your goal list.
Because the subconscious or the universe, it doesn't really process the negation. It doesn't hear the don't want.
It just hears the subject of the sentence: breast cancer. It's like if I tell you right now, don't think of a pink elephant.
I immediately think of a pink elephant.
Of course you do. So if your focus is on not being sick, you are still focusing on sickness. The energy is on the illness. Instead, you have to frame it in the positive.
My breasts are healthy and strong. My heart is in perfect condition.
You have to focus on the desired state, not the feared state.
And she offers a very specific visualization for this, the white swirl or the glitter technique.
Yes, for people who are visual thinkers, this is gold. You close your eyes and you imagine a bright white light. Or she says glitter, which I kind of like. It's more fun.
A glitter bomb of health.
A glitter bomb of health.
Okay.
And you imagine it entering the top to your head. And it starts to swirl through your body.
Through your organs, your bloodstream.
Everywhere. And as it moves, it acts like a magnet. It collects all the toxins, the pain, the illness. She pictures it as like black sludge or gunk.
Okay.
And once the white light has collected all the black stuff, you visualize it all bursting out of your body, just dissolving into nothing, taking the sickness with it.
It's like a mental pressure washer.
It is. And what it's doing is it's giving your subconscious mind a concrete visual instruction of what healing looks like. Instead of the abstract idea of get better, you're showing your body the process.
And she shares a very personal health scare here, the lump.
A very vulnerable story. She says she had a lump in her breast about the size of a coffee bean. And she was worried about it for 2 years, checked it every single night in a state of fear.
And that fear, that nightly ritual of checking, that's the absolute opposite of letting go, isn't it? That's gripping the problem with both hands.
It's a total obsession. It's feeding the problem with fear energy every single day. But then she decided to switch tactics, to use her own methods. She put a little note in her medicine cabinet that she would see every day.
What did it say?
It said, "My health is keeping me alive. Thank you for my health."
So gratitude for what is working, rather than fear of what might not be.
And here was the hardest part of the experiment. She forced herself to stop checking the lump. She denied the fear its daily ritual.
And what happened?
3 weeks later, she finally allowed herself to check. And it was gone.
Wow.
And again, you could look at this mystically or you could look at it biologically. We know that constant stress and fear release cortisol into the body.
And cortisol suppresses the immune system.
Exactly. It's not necessarily magic. By shifting from a state of fear to a state of gratitude, she likely lowered her stress response dramatically, which allowed her body's natural immune system to wake up and do its job. It's biology being influenced by psychology.
So we can heal our bodies. What about our personalities? Section 7 is about character architecture. I love this idea that we can actually renovate ourselves.
Me too. Loveless suggests that we can attract qualities and character traits just like we attract a car or a relationship. Things like confidence or patience or being more organized.
We tend to think our personality is fixed. Oh, I'm just a messy person, or I'm just naturally shy.
But she argues that's just a story we tell ourselves, a story we can rewrite. And she borrows a wonderful technique from Napoleon Hill's work, the round table visualization.
Okay, this is a fun one.
It's a fantastic imagination game. You visualize yourself sitting at a big conference table, and you invite people to sit with you.
Yeah.
People who already have the qualities you want to possess.
And they can be anyone, living or dead, real or fictional.
Anyone. It could be celebrities, historical figures, or just friends you admire.
So if I want to be more confident, I could invite, I don't know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to my table.
Absolutely. You sit there at the table with The Rock, and you visualize him handing you that quality. Like he's literally passing a ball of light that represents confidence across the table to you. Or maybe he's pouring it into a glass for you to drink.
It sounds a little silly.
It sounds silly, but what you're doing is practicing the feeling. You're borrowing the vibration of that trait. You are practicing what it feels like to be confident.
I might invite Oprah for wisdom and maybe a Navy SEAL for discipline. That's a powerful table.
That's a very powerful table.
And there's a real-world version of this too, right? The complement strategy.
So simple, so effective. If you want to be more organized, find someone in your life who is incredibly organized and tell them you admire it.
Wow, your desk is always so tidy. I really love that about you.
Yes. Because when you genuinely admire a trait in someone else, you're sending a clear signal to your own subconscious. This is good. We like this quality. We want more of this. It breaks down the barrier of envy.
That's a good point.
Usually when we lack a trait, we resent the people who have it. We say, oh, she's just a neat freak, or he's just an over-the-top extrovert.
Yeah.
Resentment pushes the trait away from you. Admiration pulls it closer. You become what you admire.
Okay, let's talk about the big one, the one everyone wants to know about. Section 8. Money, energy, and economics.
And Loveless takes a very physics-based approach to this, which I found really interesting. She starts with the interconnectedness of all energy, the chain link analogy.
Right, she says, you look at a table and you think you're separate from it, but you're not. There's no truly empty space in the universe. It's all just vibrating fields of energy.
So if you are energetically connected to the table, into the stars in the sky, into a person in China, you are also, by definition, energetically connected to money.
This completely flips the script on the idea of chasing money.
It annihilates it. Loveless argues that money is not out there somewhere for you to catch. Since everything is one unified field of energy, money is already part of you.
That's a trippy concept. Money as a body part.
In a way, yeah. She says that truly wealthy people view money as part of their identity. It's just natural to them, like their arm or their leg. They don't wake up every morning surprised that they have an arm. They just expect it to be there. They're comfortable with it.
So we need to adopt this feeling of oneness with wealth.
And she warns that all the tools, the lists, the visualizations, the affirmations, they are just that. They're tools. They aren't the magic itself. The magic is the state of being.
The feeling.
The ultimate goal is to get to a place where you are in such a constant high vibration of gratitude and appreciation that you don't even need the lists anymore. You just know you are abundant. The tools are just training wheels to get you to that state.
It's not fake it till you make it.
It's feel it till you become it. You have to internalize the reality of wealth before your bank account has a chance to catch up and reflect it.
Which brings us to the final and maybe most important hurdle, resilience. Because even if you're doing all of this, life is still life. Failure still happens.
Oh, yeah.
You write the list, you visualize the money, and then your car breaks down and you have an unexpected $1,000 bill. That's where people's faith shatters.
And that's section 9, have confidence and failure. She just lists this hall of fame of famous failures.
Right. Babe Ruth, the home run king. But he also held the record for strikeouts for decades.
Thomas Edison. Over 1,000 failed attempts before he got the light bulb right. 1,000.
Henry Ford, 5 bankruptcies before Ford Motor Company succeeded. I did not know that one. 5.
It's staggering. Most people would quit after one. But the common thread, Loveless argues, is that none of them ever doubted that they would eventually succeed. They saw each failure as data, as a lesson, not as a stop sign.
So how do we build that kind of resilience? She suggests we literally have to brainwash our subconscious.
Brainwashing has such a negative connotation, but she uses that word intentionally because we were already brainwashed. By negative news, by our parents' limiting beliefs about money, by our own self-doubt. She says we need to fight fire with fire. We need to consciously re-brainwash ourselves with positive repetition.
And her primary tool for that is the mirror exercise.
Yes. Standing in front of a mirror, looking yourself directly in the eye, and declaring your success as if it's already happened. I am a successful author. I am a successful parent. I am a healthy, vibrant person.
And there's a really smart little safety tip she includes with this that I loved.
Yes. Walk away while you still feel good.
Don't linger.
Don't stand there for 20 minutes repeating it over and over.
Yeah.
Because eventually, your conscious mind, that skeptic bodyguard, is going to wake up and start arguing with you. It's going to say, no, you're not. You're broke and you're a fraud.
So it's a hit and run.
It's an affirmation hit and run.
Yeah.
You say it, you feel that buzz of belief and excitement, and then you walk away. You don't give the doubt an opening to reply.
And it's about catching that negative self-talk throughout the day. When you find yourself thinking, I'm such a bad parent, you immediately have to override it with, no, I am a loving and capable parent who is always learning.
Overwrite the old programming.
So let's try and wrap this whole huge package up.
Yeah.
We've gone from finding a little toy goat on the floor to cleaning our internal organs with glitter to becoming one with the entire economy.
It is a wild ride when you lay it all out like that. But the structure is really solid. It's a complete system.
It really is.
Number one, read the signs. The universe is talking. Listen with your gut, not just your head. Number two, take swift, inspired action. Don't stare at the menu for 30 minutes.
Right.
Number three, respect the time delay. It's a safety buffer, not a rejection. It's keeping the elephants from falling on your head.
Use the fridge for your goals.
Keep them visible. Heal your relationships and your body by shifting your focus from fear to appreciation. Use that mirror effect. And finally, and maybe most profoundly, realize that you are not separate from the abundance you desire. It's already a part of you.
It's a complete shift from seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance to seeing yourself as the architect of your reality.
Loveless calls you, the listener, a magical creature. And I think she means that in the most literal sense. She believes we have the inherent power to create our reality. The instruction manual is simple. Aim high. Expect some failures along the way, but persist anyway. And operate with the faith that you are already connected to everything you could ever want.
It's a beautiful and empowering message. And whether you believe in the mystical side of it or you just see the profound psychological benefits of focused attention and gratitude, there is so much here that you can apply to your life. It's about taking the wheel.
Absolutely. It's about living intentionally instead of living by default. Stop driving the Ferrari blindfolded.
Well, I'm definitely going to be looking at my refrigerator in a new light tonight. And I might just go buy a toy goat, for inspiration.
Just make sure you don't take 30 minutes to decide which one to buy.
Subtle deal. Swift action. All right, I think that's a perfect place to wrap this deep dive.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Follow up in the next video.